Hello, 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 Facebook. I am back in business, back in business. Finally, I am back in business. Happy Thursday, happy Thursday. Work it out Thursday. As I posted today on, Facebook, work it out Thursday. Whatever it is, find peace in the situation. Hold no grudges. Let it go, pray about it, and let God handle it. It is work it out. Work it out Thursday. Talk it through Thursday. Talk it through Thursday. Forgive me. I am just waking up. Migraine is not all the way gone, but I needed to be committed to what I said that I would do. So forgive me. It is Thursday. It is Talk It Through Thursday. Talk it through Thursday. And as I said early and posted early on my post, whatever it is, talk about it, let it go. Pray about it. Hold no grudge. Clear your heart. Give it to God. And let God handle it. Again, like I said, I'm back in business. And I just wanted to be an encouraging, this to be an encouraging moment for somebody that's pushing forward. Somebody that's pushing forward but find it really, really hard. Really, really hard to hold on because the more that you're pushing forward, the harder that it's getting for you. Again, the more that you're pushing forward, the harder that it's getting for you. And that's why I wanted to sacrifice and strive to get up out of the bed and, share this with you. It's just my personal experience with trying to push forward towards my goals, trying to, make things happen that I want to do. But I'm learning. And then I put the title of this video, It Gets Harder Before It Gets Easier. Keep pushing. And I found myself giving that advice to somebody maybe like 2 weeks ago and not even knowing that I would be reflecting on that same quote that I gave to someone, the same advice that I gave to someone, that I would be reminding myself of those same words. And like I said, it's been rough. I haven't been on Facebook Live in a minute. It's been a while, since I was on a love series, and I didn't even complete that. I got to the second one, and then things just started happening. And that's what I wanted to share, the beginning of what I wanted to share with you guys. It gets harder before it gets easier, but keep pushing. Keep pushing. So I haven't been on Facebook for since February, beginning of February, when I did my love series, and I had a lot of things going on. First, I started dealing with a viral infection. And then I had a bad respiratory infection that had to be down for about a month and a half, probably, a month and a half, where, they had to prescribe me an inhaler. And then I'm now on medication, for breathing because I was wheezing. And now it's the allergies and the sinus and connected to I guess, bronchitis that makes you go through these changes and stuff. And it was just a lot. And even tonight, even trying to get up out the bed with my migraine not fully gone, I had plans to do Facebook Live. And I had also had plans to, stream from my YouTube channel, Coach Keisha. However, I go to, set my tablet up for that, and my tablet says that it doesn't have the eligible requirements to stream or whatever. So it's just been so much that's been trying to, get in the way of me doing what I want to do, doing what I love, and push harder with my goals. And I just decided tonight that I would just keep pushing. It was keep pushing. It was like 7:40, and I was sitting in that bed, and I was like, I don't think I'm gonna do it tonight. Um, but I decided to get up. I decided to get up. So, like I said, it gets harder before it gets easier, but keep pushing. So I wanted to open. I'll just open with just stating of my event that I'm excited about. I'm excited. I'm excited. I'm excited. My first event, y'all know I've been trying to do things. Keisha Encourage a Moment, post stuff on Facebook. I've been doing this inspirational thing for a minute now. And last year the book was released. And, at that time, people was like, when you going to do something? When you going to do something? And y'all know I bring honesty and I bring truth to the table. Financial purposes, financial reasons. I just didn't see it happening. But I had made a promise to myself that I would do something this year, and now is my time. May 11th, from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. at the Law Library, I'll be doing my Let's Talk About It. Let's Talk About It book discussion for my book, Pain, Prayer, and Purpose. If y'all can see it, Pain, Prayer, and Purpose, my book. I'll be doing that. So I'm excited. Someone asked me, well, who can come? Who can come to this event? And, I was like, everybody can come. Anybody that's been in a place that feel like with all the good that you're doing, the bad keeps trying to break you. For every step that you go forward, something else just keeps trying to set you back. Or someone that feels like they're in a place of giving up. My book shows so many different situations. I share so many different situations, challenges, storms, problems that I had to endure to even get to just sitting in front of you on Facebook Live, to even get to the point where I could post something on Facebook to try to inspire someone else. It took a long time to get there. And just looking at my comments, I'm surprised because my significant other, y'all, is watching me. And he says, stay focused on your goals and the blessings will show. And I really believe that. And it's I'm really excited. I'll stop for a moment and say I'm really excited for the support that I had with anything that I always say. Whatever you're trying to endure, whatever you're trying to get to, whatever point that you're trying to, whatever difference, whatever change that you're trying to make, your support system really makes a difference. So with everything, I'm very, very I'm very blessed to have a significant other that encourages me with every step that I make. So I'll just take that moment to say that on Facebook. So like I said, who can come? Anyone that feels like they're in a place where they're pressing forward, but things keep coming. And anyone that's at a place, they just feel like they're about to give up. A lot of things in my book I share. Some of the situations I won't go into because that's why you got to come and we got to talk about it. But some of the situations that I've had to endure, I've had to overcome many strongholds from a young adult, a young child to a young adult to being older. Hardships leading to depression, many hardships leading to depression. My period of dealing with loneliness, a cycle of unhealthy relationships, the lack of understanding and knowing me, dealing with self-love. Many cycles of grief that had me in a place where I was stuck because I felt so loved by those people and not feeling that anymore, not having them to be there and to show me those things. I was lost. I didn't feel love, and I had to learn how to love myself in the midst of those things. And I struggled with spiritual beliefs. I struggled with my spiritual beliefs, and I was at the state of where I needed to survive. So once again, I had many challenges, strongholds from a child to a young adult. to even now that I'm still pressing forward to, dealing with loneliness, dealing with self-love, dealing with grief, losing the people or the men that were closest to me that, really were role models or that helped me in different ways. Understanding and learning how to love me. I struggle with grief. I struggle with spiritual beliefs and a period of where I needed to survive, where I just wanted to live through my circumstances. When I look at that, when I think about that today, here's one thing that stands out. One reason why that I can still press forward, one reason why I can still, uh, find peace in the midst of what I had to go through is because I realized that I had to become mentally prepared to do what I'm doing today. Had I tried to do what I'm doing now, then without growing and maturing, going through some lessons, certain challenges, I know for a fact that I would not be out as I am today. So today I thank God for those lessons, storms, problems, situations, because I realize now that He had to mentally prepare me for this. It was a mental adjustment. It was a mental adjustment for me. I needed the storms, I needed the challenges, I needed the darkness, I needed all of that to prepare me for where I am now, so that I could reach my breakthrough. And here's another thing: with wanting to do, which is my passion, women empowerment, promoting self love, all of that stuff. I love to do all of that stuff. But God has made me accountable in a way for my actions, because I always said I would not be the type of person where I would advise somebody to do something, but I would not be striving to do the same thing myself. I would not advise one of my friends to do this or to do that, and I'm not doing the same thing. So even if I advise somebody to do something and I'm not there yet, it'll ring in my head, Keisha, you know what? You told them that, so you need to work harder too. So God, in a way, has made me accountable for my actions, because here's the thing: God knew that I needed it. Had I tried to do it under different circumstances, I probably wouldn't be effective. But now that I'm in a place of enjoying what I do, loving what I do, striving forward in what I do, God has made me accountable for what I do. And now I'm in a place where I can learn how to find peace through it all, peace through everything that I've been through. And just to bounce back about the event May 11th, for those that have tuned in, May 11th, I'm doing my let's um, let's talk about it book discussion. It's on Eventbrite. You can register. There is a $25 charge, but we're doing that also. A couple of things, y'all know, my family know when I give events and stuff, I like to make it fun. Whatever it is, I'm always targeted towards the goal, but I like to do a little fun thing. So, for those that think that it's just going to be, calm and sit and talk, and that's what it is, a book discussion. But there are going to be some interesting points. I'm going to do a raffle. I'm going to have some items that I'm preparing to show you all that you might want to purchase. It's a surprise, so you won't see it on Facebook. You won't see none of that stuff. It'll be shown that day. And then for the mothers that attend, I have a small token for Mother's Day gift for you. And like I said, great conversation, a question and answer moment. There'll be a light meal. And again, as always, I bring complete honesty to the table to help someone else that's struggling, trying to find their place and needs some encouragement moving forward. So again, it's a book discussion. I'm going all in. I'm answering all questions. I'm being as honest as I can. If I put it on paper, I'll use my voice to be even powerful. So come and enjoy a raffle. Selective items that you may like to purchase. You'll receive a Mother's Day gift. Great conversation. And once again, there will be a light meal. And I'm excited. I hope that there is a charge. Register for $25 on eventbrite.com. And the title is Let's Talk About It. Let's Talk About It. May 11th, 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. at the Laurel Library. Not far, not far. One thing that I've learned with trying to plan events and do things, a lot of times, you want to make things available to everybody. You want to, have it in a certain area because people say, oh, I want to come, but maybe it's too far. I work this time, I'll be able to come. And God is showing me that you cannot please everybody. You can't please everybody. You can't make everything work for everybody. Here's one thing that I'm learning. If people want to attend, and if they're hungry enough, and if they want to be fed, that's just like we eat every day. If you're hungry enough and you want to be fed, you'll make the time to come. The only thing that I did for this event to make sure that it was, reasonable for everybody is I did a median for, I put it in the Laurel section because I have friends and I have people that were interested in some of the things that I did, but they live in Baltimore and they said they was a little bit too far. And then we have PG County. That's the only thing that I did. But I tried to put it in the middle area, which was Laurel. Everything else I just went forward with because, like I said, if you're hungry and you want to be fed, you'll get that food. You'll do what you got to do to get that food. And that's the way that I am now. Spiritually, God has led me to that place. So that's the mindset that I have going forward. You can't please everybody. You can't do everything according to the participation that you have. Here's some of the things that I've learned just with trying to go forward and pursue my goals and plan things and everything else. Here's my biggest lesson. I look at people that are successful and now I give them the most respect. And this is nothing huge. I'm just starting to get my stuff grounded and on the ground. But when I tell you, it has been very challenging. In the beginning, I said it gets harder before it gets easier, but keep pushing. And I have to continue to think that. I'm telling you, I respect people that have their stuff established now. Because if I was to tell you just the things that I've had to, like I said, that I was saying earlier, just getting sick and in the middle of my Love Me First series, not being able to complete that, viral infection, respiratory infection, having to be prescribed an inhaler, on medication now for my breathing, just so much stuff. Just at the time I became committed and said I was going to go forward with this, everything else started weighing against me. So people that are successful, I'm going to tell you, I've learned that trying to become business oriented is very challenging. But in the end, those people earn everything that they get. So with everything that I'm pushing forward to, in the back of my head, I keep saying, Keisha, it's going to pay off. It's going to pay off. It's going to pay off. And the blessings are going to come in. Not only has it been challenging to just, I would say, start my ministry. I consider it a business because I'm claiming, and I tell everybody, and I mean this, y'all, I claim self-employment. I claim, being a motivational speaker, traveling. I claim it. I'm saying it now so that when it happens, y'all can say she said it on Facebook. But, I'm claiming it. Not only am I just learning about, it takes a lot to become business minded, it requires a lot of patience for anybody out there that's trying to get started. Like I said earlier, God has challenged me because if I tried doing what I'm doing right now, if I tried that years ago when I was dealing with not loving myself and dealing with grief and dealing with so much other stuff, I would not be effective as I am now. I would have had moments of up and down, starting, giving up. And I know that for a fact. That's why I can appreciate all of the things that I had to go through. But it's taking patience. It it has taken patience to even get to the point where I realize that, okay, I'm pushing forward right now, but something's going to happen that's going to try to step me back. But I got to just hang on in there. I can't get mad. I can't start cussing. And it do happen sometimes. But I have to talk to myself. And I have to gain that patience to hold on. Then I also had to become disciplined. I had to become disciplined. A lot of things I wanted to do. I'm working. I work from 6 a.m. to 2 p.m. I can get up anywhere from 2 to 3 in the morning with me and the baby trying to get out to work. Still trying to do overtime. Still got mommy duties. Still got relationship duties. All of this stuff that I'm trying to do, still trying to fit in my me time with me and my girls, all of this stuff going on, still trying to figure out, okay, when can I go Facebook Live? Or when can I do this? When can I plan? I had to learn how, and I'm learning. I haven't got it all together yet, but I'm learning that to be successful, you have to also become disciplined. So I had to find out certain days, what day works for me for Facebook. What days work for me for this and for that. What days can I do overtime? I'm learning all of this stuff as far as discipline. And it's been very, very challenging. And planning, as I just said, it has taken a lot of planning, mindset to figure out what days, what hours, what moments, whatever. And again, I say it's been a great support system. My mom, my son's 2 grandmothers, my sisters, my significant other, all of them in my corner. I'm telling you, I wouldn't be able to do it by myself. So once again, anybody out there, you're thinking about, you wanna set that goal, you wanna reach that point. I'm telling you now, if you got some things that are working against you and they're holding you back and they're interfering with you mentally, you better become mentally prepared first, because you will never be able to push forward. You will never be able to reach your goals until you're mentally prepared to meet whatever you have, you've put forward. It's not gonna work. If you wanna reach that business, you wanna reach that goal, as I said, patience. I'm learning. It takes patience, it takes discipline. I left out guidance. It takes guidance. I've had to ask different people, what about this? I've had to, put things on Facebook. Anybody know this? You can't try to do it all yourself. You're not going to be able to figure it all yourself. I've been that Keisha where I've tried to figure it all myself. Even doing this, try to figure, I ain't going to ask nobody. I'm going to just, no. Guidance. It takes guidance and planning, a lot of planning. So what am I aiming for? I'm aiming for success. I'm aiming for success now. So I know success is going to happen. And also, the most important thing, y'all, it took for me to step outside of my comfort zone. Step outside of my comfort zone. I think on my job, I was just in a place where I feel like I've been doing this for so long, I needed something different. But I was scared. I had the fears. I said, you know what, let me go ahead and do it. And now that I've taken on some different areas on my job and been willing to learn different things, it has all played a part and been an advantage to what I'm doing now. Some way or another, I look back and say, you know what? Had I not took this task on my job, I would not be working 9 to 5. I would not be working Monday through Fridays, weekends, and holidays off, which could help balance my schedule a little bit. So sometimes we're going through problems, we're going through our challenges, we're going through our situations, but we ask why. We ask why. Or we feel this is too much. But sometimes in the midst of going through, we don't understand. But as we go further along, God will begin to show us, I needed you to go through this. And he'll begin to reveal the reasons why. And you'll be able to see, somewhere down the line, you'll be able to see how you have benefited from that change. I say all of that to say that a lot of times we're stuck. We're stuck in our comfort zone. We don't want to do it because we're comfortable where we are now. We know what to expect. Nothing can really get to us because we know what to expect. We've been dealing with this for a while. It's the fear of the unknown, the fear of the unknown that gets to us, the fear of the unknown that gets to us. So, I encourage somebody, step beyond that comfort zone and don't cut yourself short of being scared and having fear, because so much more is beyond that. Stepping beyond your comfort zone will be my number one point. And then two, it took me to walk by faith. I had to learn how to walk by faith, and that just didn't come all together. I'm still learning, but I'm just stronger now, learning how to walk by faith. Spiritually, I'm more in tune with that now, being able to pray and ask God for things, and, God rendering confirmation in so many different ways. And I get confirmation through conversation, through a radio commercial, through TV. They come in all different types of forms. But I've learned that walking by faith, being willing to step out of my comfort zone and then relying on God and instilling faith really helps. And once all of that get to going and God sees that you're trying and you're making steps and everything else, that's when those unexpected blessings come in. Unexpected blessings and the favor they show over your life. I'm just, I say this to people, that when you look at me and I smile, when you look at me and I'm inspiring somebody else and I'm encouraging, it's because I didn't think I would be here. I didn't think I would be here. I didn't think that after losing my 14-year-old son, the way that it happened, that I would ever smile again, that I would ever see light again. I didn't think none of that. But I continue to push. And God has shown me that He will reward my faithfulness for realizing that the only way that I could get through that situation was to depend on Him. Like I tell people, it was never that I wanted to commit suicide. It was never that. I never thought about taking my life, but I did. I was trying to understand, how can I hang on to the little bit of life that I have, how can I get back to feeling that I was valuable again? It was just a process that, like I said, was hard, but I'm glad that I made it through. And I realized that I had to endure a lot of things to even get to this point. But when I desired the hunger to survive, the hunger to understand, the hunger to not wanting to go back to the place that I was, because I realized how my habits and my situations and my actions, played a part in certain things that I did. But when I desired, and I tell somebody, and I'll try to encourage somebody, that when you desire that hunger to do anything, for mine it was a hunger of survival. For you, it could be a hunger of just changing, a hunger of, adjusting to certain things. But when you desire a hunger for something and you overlook everything else, I'm telling you, everything that you need to happen will happen in time, in God's time, not your time. Everything that you need to happen will happen in God's time when you desire a hunger. See, a lot of people want things. They want things to happen. Oh, I want this, I'm going to do this. They put it on paper. But you can put it on paper. You can say it out of your mouth. You can even pray for it. But here's the thing, when you don't have a hunger for it, it's not going to move. It's not going to happen. So you have to have a hunger for whatever you're trying to achieve. You have to have a hunger for that business. You have to have a hunger to break the habit. You have to have a hunger to let go of something or someone. You have to have a hunger to want to love yourself more. And once you have the hunger, because once you have the hunger, it blocks out everything. It blocks out everything. It blocks out literally everything. And my main goal, like I said, became to live life again. I wanted to live life again. Despite of how I felt inside, despite of, the things that I was going through that people didn't even see, despite of the mask that I was putting on, that everything was okay. And people knew everything wasn't okay, but the mask that I put on, everything's okay. I'm doing good. You know, I got to the point where I just, I just got to the point of being greedy, of being hungry. I was hungry. I wanted to live life again. And God is allowing me to do that. But here's the thing. There was a 3-part process that I like to encourage people. It was a three-part process that I needed to realize in myself. First, I had to admit it. I had to admit exactly what my issues were, or what my issues was. With any of us, whatever we're trying to strive towards, whatever goal we're trying to meet, change, adjust, we have to be honest with ourselves. Admitting it causes honesty. When you can say it to yourself, when you can speak it and not care about what others think, that's a beginning stage. That's a beginning stage of wanting to push forward. Not only did I have to admit it, but I had to face it. I had to be willing to face it. So I had to step beyond my comfort zone despite my fear, despite of me not knowing how I was going to make it, my emotions, my feelings. At that time when I lost my son, what the media was saying and people were saying that didn't even understand me, I had to face everybody, despite of how I felt. So after I admitted it and I faced it, then I had to change it. I had to change it. And that required my actions. I had to put a plan together. I had to create a method that would work for me. And that method was getting into therapy. That method was finding a good support system, my family. It wasn't my choice, as I said earlier. It wasn't my choice, but I ended up with a significant other that is very encouraging. All of those things became very helpful to me. So with anything and with anyone that's trying to press towards something, first of all, like I said a little while ago, you have to have a hunger for it. You have to have a hunger for it. If you're not hungry, you're going to stop. You're going to pick this up. You're going to throw it away. You're going to go through so many changes. But when you're hungry, you're going to eat it. You're going to keep going until you're full. And here's the thing. You're never going to get enough. You're never going to get enough. You're going to keep wanting. You're going to want more. You're going to want more. You're going to want more. And it's going to keep going. And God's going to keep pouring. He's going to keep rendering. He's going to keep giving you everything that you need because he sees that hunger. But before you can even get there, you got to go through the 3-part process. You got to admit it. You got to admit it. You got to face it. And you got to change it. I'm telling y'all, everything that I share on Facebook Live, that I share in person, is based off experience. Now think about this. I'll share this with y'all. There was a time, and I don't know if she watching, my goddaughter Adriana, when I worked in the school system for Anne Arundel County. And then I was, Miss Mason. Even though I was married, even still today, she still called me Miss Mason. But, we connected in the school system and she became my goddaughter, and I'm proud of her process and how she, adjusted in her life. But she used to always say, Miss Mason, you need to be a counselor. You need to be a counselor. You need to go to school for counseling and stuff like that. And I don't know if y'all know that there's sometimes on Facebook or years ago, you used to be able to do this test and you could put in, they would ask you all these questions and they could narrow it down and they could tell you what field you were good for. And I actually did one of those tests before. And it came back and everything would be a counselor or something like that. So when I first got into this and wanted to do ministry and stuff like that, I'm going to be honest with y'all. I was like, God, I don't want to be no pastor. Y'all know, I tell you all the time, I can't quote no scriptures, none of that stuff. I got to read it to know what it's saying. If I tell you what it say, I might be off a little bit. I'll be honest with mine. So I got to read it straight from the book. I say, God, I can't remember no scriptures. My mind a little, I forget sometimes, So I say, I always thought, well, God, are you trying to call me to be a pastor? Because I don't think that's my calling. And But when I thought about ministry, I was like, well, can I do, different things? Do I have to go to school for this or whatever? And I say all of that to say this. Sometimes God puts us in a place, how can I say it? Sometimes God will take us through the cycles of life, through the problems, the situations, the storms, and the circumstances. And that's our schooling. That's our schooling. God didn't need me to go to school to learn what I'm telling you, to learn how to encourage, to learn how to, you know, to put vision, to put things on paper. The way that I put things on paper and the stuff that be bottled in my mind, I'm telling y'all, it's amazing just to me. I can sit down. Anybody know me, I can sit down and I can write for hours, because it's all up here. I'm just releasing it, put it on paper. So I learned that a lot of times we feel we got to go to school for stuff. And sometimes we do. Sometimes we need to be a little educated. Now, for me, I don't have to go to school to learn how to, the vision and putting it all together and my message and none of that stuff. Now, when it comes to computer classes and stuff like that, yeah, I may need to. But my experiences, my challenges, my storms, my problems, pressing through my darkest moment, that's why I can appreciate what I'm doing, because God gave me all of that to do what I'm doing now. And that's my whole point. God gave me everything, took me through everything that I'm going through now to get to where I am. And I used to think that I wouldn't be able to do this. I remember before I got pregnant with DeAndre, I wanted to enroll in school. My thoughts was to enroll in school, that August, a month before he was born. And when I got pregnant, I was like, wow, I can't go to school. I can't do this. I can't pursue what I wanted to do. But guess what? This is what I know. God told me, I don't want you to go to school. Going to school for what you thought you wanted to go to school for, that's not what I wanted you to do. I wanted you to do just what you're doing now. And that can take me back to not feeling bad about myself with situations that happened through that time frame. I don't get mad, because if I didn't have my son, I probably would be going to school for something that wasn't within my purpose. And I probably would have found that out later. I come in contact with so many people that are going to school for something that's not really for them. And they go to school for years and they waste this money, and then they find out, nah, that's not for me. So had I not got pregnant with my son, met my significant other, and got pregnant with my son, I probably would have been in school for something that wasn't even for me. But God used my son to reroute everything. I never thought that I would be effective in ministry, creating everything that I'm creating, because of my son. But my son has been a motivation, to push forward what I'm at. You never know how the situation that you're uncomfortable in will later be a relief to you. You'll be appreciative of that challenge, of that storm, of that problem. Because now you see, had I not been through that, I wouldn't think this, I wouldn't know this, I wouldn't be this person, I wouldn't appreciate this. So I say to somebody, a lot of times, like I said, we question where we are. We question what we're going through. We question, why me? As I said earlier in the beginning of this video, it gets harder, y'all, before it gets easier. Keep pushing. That's what God's showing me. As much as I want to ask, why did I go through this? Why am I still going through the things I'm going through? God say, it's going to get harder before it gets easier. You got to keep pushing. Like I said, if I did not go through the things that I have went through, I would not be effective with what I'm doing. I wouldn't be this effective. Had I tried this a couple of years ago, I wouldn't be this effective, because I needed the lessons. I needed the challenges. that I've recently faced to get me to this point. But now, I'm in a place, y'all, where I can appreciate the blessings and the lessons. I can understand the whole concept of faith, belief, and prayer. And some people, I say this because I was that child with my Aunt Linda and my grandmother. We were made to go to church. Every Sunday, we were made to go to church. We were going to church for every church event during the week. I'm telling you. And I was mad. I had to go. When I got older, and nobody forced me, I still had God in my heart, but it was nobody is making me go, so I can go on my terms. And I fell off. But here's the other thing. The more that I went through the cycles of different issues and different problems and circumstances, all of those things pushed me back to what I was grounded on with my Aunt Linda and my mom. I became appreciative of them making me go to church. Because as I got older and I tried to do my thing, God showed me that I couldn't succeed without him. So I had to keep that spiritual aspect in my life. So like I said, I had to learn how to understand the whole concept of faith, belief, really believing. I'm not at the place, and I'll be honest, I'm not in a place where doubt don't exist. But doubt don't exist as much as it did. And prayer. When I pray now, I pray. I just be like, God, I just can't do this. I wrote something down earlier and I'll say it now. And it was based on the title on, my book postmark. This says pain, prayer, and purpose. And as I was writing my notes, I thought about when you're in your pain, do you pray? When you're in pain, do you pray? Do you pray or do you complain? Or do you curse? Or do you get all frustrated? Or do you get angry? When you're in your pain, do you pray? And how do you pray? For me, I'm telling y'all, sometimes it's different ways. I'm down on my knees at the end of my bed. Sometimes I'm just like this with my hands and I'm talking to God. How do you pray? And what's your desired purpose? What's your desired purpose? Are you praying just for an instant blessing, just to get by? Are you praying for total change? Are you praying for an adjustment? What are you praying for? What's your purpose? And that came to me, like I said, while I was writing my notes. When you're in pain, do you pray? How do you pray? And what's your desired purpose? So I was talking about the understanding the concepts of faith, belief, and prayer, through being made to go to church at a young age. As I grew up, that stuck with me. I never let it go. And I'm in a place where I can realize that it was my mistakes, my decisions, my unhealthy mindset, all of the mistakes brought a message. Not only did my mistakes, because I made plenty, not only did my mistakes bring a message, but my message poured out a miracle. So here's the thing. What was my mistake? Many mistakes. Dealing with the wrong man, not loving myself, my actions, my bad habits, all of those things, not caring, not seeing a reason for change, all of those things that took me that became that worked against me, I should say, that worked against me. All of those things got me to the place of growth, whether it was my personal life, spiritual life, relationship wise, dealing with family and friends, all of that. It was those mistakes that brought forth a message which allows me to render inspiration and encouragement and an uplifting to other people. And then it was my message that poured out a miracle. It was my message of being honest to say, I wanted to learn how to, I think I said earlier, live life again. I wanted to learn how to live life again. I was honest with myself. I wanted to live life again. And because I was able to realize that, now I'm able to enjoy the miracle of finding peace and learning to be happy in all areas of my life. And in the midst of all of that, I became way more determined, way more motivated, and a lot committed to my purpose, my vision, and my calling. See, there are some things that we want for ourselves, and I'm not going to say I doubted myself with doing what I do now. I just didn't understand how far God can use me in the midst of a passion that I so desired. Because remember, this didn't start when my son passed away. This drive, this passion of helping women and, sharing my experiences, all of that came years before my son passed away. Here's the thing, I could never act on it. I could never move because I had so much going on in my life. I was frustrated. I was trying to make ends meet for me and my kids. Single mother, my son, mentally challenged son, myself, not loving myself, dealing with the wrong men. I had so much stuff going on where I couldn't even get my mental state together. It just wasn't possible. But when I began to release all of those things, I could understand my calling better. I could understand my vision better. I could understand what God was trying to reveal to me more. And that's the thing. And it was all because I was willing to face the unknown of trusting God through my process. Had I not trusted God, here's the thing, I wouldn't be here. I would not be able to sit down with somebody today. Some people say, oh, I can't make it without God. No, I take that back. Some people say, I could do it. I could do it on my own. Oh, I got this. Reality is, from somebody that's been at their lowest and their darkest, you can try, and you may think that you're doing it, but it will never be what it should be without God. You may feel you're doing it. You may feel it's working for you. But guess what? Without God, it's not going to mount to everything that it should mount to. That marriage, that relationship, that job, whatever it is, it's not going to grow into what it should be if you don't include God. People don't understand that, but we need to include God through all of our through each and every process that we face in life. And not just each and every process, but every area of our life. Because we have people that will come into our lives that will disappear when things get hard, and they'll disappoint us at the moment that we need them the most. But God's promise is God's promise that is a thing that we can always hold on to. It's God's promise that He will lead, guide, and strengthen us through everything, and that He will never leave us. Like I said, God, situations, we try to face situations, we try to make it through God, without God, we can't. Here's something that people often say, and I wanted to talk about this, early on, but I really had to pray about it and ask God for. A lot of times I want to say things, but the way that I want to say it, I feel that it won't be effective. So I have to take some time to think about it. So a lot of times we have people, and I just heard something yesterday, and they was talking about how people don't want to go to church because of all of these different things. People say, I don't want to go to church because, the pastor asks for too much money, or the pastor's, he's driving in that nice car, he got that big church, and he's asking for all of these offerings, and they're looking at the pastor's wealth, or you have the judgmental people, or let's just say you have the fakeness in the church, and all of these different things. And we deal with church hurt as well. People are hurt in church, and they don't go to church for years. It happened to me. I remember being in a place where I was pregnant. I was probably pregnant, and people didn't understand what I was going through, and some things were said. And this was a past experience, but I've had a recent experience of church hurt as well. Um, but I've still became committed, and I decided that I wasn't going to let that stop me from pushing towards where I'm supposed to be. And we have all of these different reasons of why we won't go to church. But we don't keep in mind, these are the same people we're around every day. Same people we're around every day. Um, and then sometimes we're not even honest with ourselves, because a lot of times we don't want to go to church because we don't want to accept, we're not willing to accept the truth. We know the pastor going to talk about weed. We know he's going to talk about drinking. We know he's going to talk about, having sex. We know he's going to talk about whatever it is. And here's the thing. And this is just my perception of it. And I'm not asking anybody to think the way that I think. But I know what I'm doing wrong. I know, what I need to change. And when you can sit in front of that person that's advising that you change and you adjust some areas of your life, you should learn to grab from that and not be resistant of it. I remember, when I lost Keyshawn and I first started going to church, it was just a place of relief to me going up to altar. I'm telling you, I was all on the floor. I was rolling over. They was letting me have my way. I was falling in the chairs. I was doing it all. It was a release system. And there was some Sundays I went, and Pastor Neil was talking about some of the things I was dealing with, whether it was men, whether it was bad habits, whether it was not wanting to grow. And there were times that I wanted to get up and leave that church. But I sat right there, and I had to accept the truth. Sometimes we don't want to accept the truth. All right, I don't want to go to church because that pastor going to talk about smoking weed again. Or he talking about drinking again. Or those people fake, or they hypocrites, and they ask for too much money. And a lot of times we will rather watch the streaming online service than go to church. And here's the thing that I learned with myself. Don't limit yourself of your purpose because of other people. Don't limit your spiritual growth, the place that you can grow, because of other people. I'm I want to say something. I'm trying to get it together. If we, like I said, we have all these reasons, the offerings, the pastor's wealth, the hypocrites, the judgments, or people in fake, the church hurt. But when you are really, it just came back, y'all. I had to wait till it come back. When you are really at a place of holding on, and you're really at a place of survival, I'm going to tell you, it don't matter what the pastor's asking for. It don't matter what the people in the church are doing or saying about you. It don't matter about none of that. When you are truly at a place of hunger, holding on, and survival, the distractions, I'm telling you, they're not going to hold you down. You're going to gain more focus. Not saying that it won't bother you, but when you are striving for hunger, when you're striving to hold on, and you're striving to survive, this is experience, y'all. Those people not going to matter. What that pastor not going to matter. Here's the thing. For me, I was the person giving more than what the pastor was asking for, because that sermon was powerful to me and it was what I needed. Don't limit yourself. Don't limit yourself. I mean, sometimes it may take time to go to church and get over that church hurt or whatever it is. And you may have to start with online stream. You may have to start there. But the more that you grow, the more that you become committed, God's going to start revealing some things to you in those messages through that online service. And those messages and those sermons, those points that they give you should all have you to say, you know what? I'm going to go into the church this time. I'm going to go into that church, but I'm going to go in with a different mindset this time. Well, I ain't paying attention to none of that stuff, because I need God to help me through this situation. And I can't do it no other way. That's personal experience, y'all. Personal experience. And here's the other thing that I learned, because I'm almost on my hour. But here's the other thing that I learned too. Just because you start somewhere. See, I started in one place, and I needed to grow to get where I am now. But that's not necessarily where you're going to stay. God just needs you to start here. God may need you to start with that screaming service because of your church hurt, because you've been judged in church, because your mind is distracted by how many offerings they get, or because you can't get past what the message is about, the smoking weed and having sex and all that other stuff. But the more that you push forward, God's going to start allowing things to happen where you're going to get a little stronger. Your belief going to get a little stronger. It's not going to matter as much what the pastors say, because I'm trying. I'm better than what I was last year. I'm better than what I was last month. That's all that matters. As long as you know your progress and you see your progress, and you're praying to God about where you want to be, that's all that matters. But don't let the people in the church, like I said, don't let others limit you of your purpose and your spiritual growth. Don't settle for online streaming, just because. Get to a place where you can pray that God gives you the strength. God gives you, and gets you to the place where you can step outside your house and you can do more. If you can maintain through it, through whatever situation, problem, circumstances you're facing, God will surrender peace from it. If you can maintain yourself through that past church hurt, through those past judgment, whether it was in or out of church, whether it was from a spouse, friend, or family, through being judged, accused, or whatever else, all of those things, if you can maintain through it, God will surrender peace from it. Once again, that's a statement of experience. My mindset has just begun to reach the place. I walked into 2019 praying that God would lead me into a place of peace and happiness in every area of my life. Relationship, family, friends, ministry, mental, physically, in every way possible, that I would find peace. Because I was feeling the opposite inside. And it was diminishing me. And it was holding me back from what I was striving towards. So even though I had a plan and I created and I had goals, and I knew where I wanted to go, I couldn't move because I wasn't in that place of peace and letting go. And I walked into 2019 asking God to give me that. And I can say that I'm in that place of learning how I'm peaceful, and to be more happy with myself despite the circumstances that I face in life. So once again, don't let the church hurt, the things that go on in the church, whatever it is, stop you from pursuing. Because like I said before this, whatever situation you're trying to handle on your own, you can try, you can feel that it's going good, but guess what? The benefit of it is not going to is not going to be what it would be, what it should be if you included God. That's a habit, a change, adjustment, goal, success. You shorten yourself. You're working harder trying to do it by yourself than including God. If you include God, it gets harder, but it'll get easier if you include God. You do it by yourself, it's going to always seem to be hard. It's always going to seem to be hard. Life experience. I bring honesty to the table. The more you give God and the further you're willing to go with God, and the more that you commit yourself to God, the more God will store to you. The more you give God, the further that you're willing to go with God, and the more committed you become to God, the more He will render unto you. And I tell y'all, I'm telling you, sometimes I'm going through, and I'm at that moment where I'm about to break. Literally, I'm about to curse. I'm about to break. I'm about to hold a moment. I'm telling you, being honest. And I just stop and say, Keisha, you know what? I just have this thing now that when something is going wrong, when something is going real good, I say, you know what? I'm just expecting something bad to happen. Because that's the way it happens. I'm just expecting something bad to happen. I'm preparing myself. Some people may say that's good, some people may say it's bad, but guess what? It's helped me to not become more stressful. So I'm preparing myself for a mental break before I even get there. And with that prayer, belief, and belief, I'm telling you, it helps. It helps. And it keeps me calm. It keeps me calm. It keeps me from reacting more negative. It keeps me sustained for the moment, to get back on track. So, I mean, a lot of times I gotta talk to myself, and I'm not afraid to say I talk to myself. Sometimes talking to myself keeps me down, calms me down. I just don't answer myself. I may have to talk to myself. But the more that you, true point, y'all, the more that that's what I was about to say. See, I had to wait. The more that you become committed to God, the more that God will begin to reveal to you and show you that you are on the right track and this is for you. There are times, y'all, and even now, striving towards the event, Pain, Prayer, and Purpose, my book discussion, again, May 11th, 1 to 4 in Laurel. There are times where I'm like, do I have the finances for this? Because here's the other thing that I'm learning with starting to do events and stuff. They cost. And depending on what your plan is and what your vision is and what your goal is, they can cost, if you know what I'm saying. I was like, do I have the money to even do this? But here's what I learned. I was committed to it. So I'm going to plan anyway. And if I plan anyway, God will give me the resources to meet my goal. And I'm going to tell y'all, there are times when I don't see it happening, or my bank account get a little low. And I check my bank account almost, if not every day, every other day, at least every 2 to 3 days. And then sometimes I'll check that bank account and I got an unexpected deposit. That a deposit that I thought I wasn't sure what wasn't going to come, or something I needed to do right now and maybe I thought I was going to get that money the week after, and God gave it to me just in time. I say all of that to say, the more that you become committed to God, the more that He will store upon your life. And that's just, I'm not just talking money, I'm talking relationship. I'll share this with you. Even in my relationship, things was getting hectic, problems and everything, little petty stuff, whatever. Arguments and everything was starting to happen. Because now I'm pressing towards with determination. Now I'm just like, nothing gonna stop me. And the devil is saying, huh, nothing gonna stop you? Okay, I'm gonna try that relationship now. Nothing gonna stop you? Okay, I'm gonna make things on your job a little bit more hectic. Nothing gonna stop you? I'm gonna use your health. But through all of that, as I said earlier, viral infection, respiratory infection, having to use an inhaler, being put on meds for my breathing, all of that stuff now. I'm still striving. I'm still determined to do what I said I was going to do: empower women, promote self-love. And when you become more committed, I'm telling you, God will render more. And I'm not just talking money. I'm talking about those things that you thought that was not going to happen. Those things that you saw no way of happening. They begin to happen. Relationships and people that you haven't spoke to, that you didn't think could be, rebuilt, reunited. Relationship that you thought you were just going to call it off. Now you got the patience to hang in there. You know, um, all different things will begin to happen. I'm not, like I said, I'm not just talking money. I'm talking about in every area of your life. The more that you commit to God, and again, all this is stuff that I tried, and I know that it worked. I've experienced it on my own, and I know that it works. That's how I can, advise it. The more He renders to you, He'll render more to you, depending on what you give to Him. You cannot ask God to give you something that you're not working towards yourself. People say you can't ask God for the job if you haven't filled out the application. You haven't asked God to take you somewhere that you haven't mentally prepared yourself for. And I said it in the beginning. I never would have expected that I needed to be mentally prepared to do what I do, because it seems like, I'm just talking to people. I'm just sharing my experiences. But I never realized I had to be mentally prepared for this. If you're satisfied being comfortable, you'll never grow. You'll never grow. If you're satisfied being comfortable, you'll never grow. You have to be willing to step beyond your comfort zone. But if you want more and you're willing and you commit yourself, I promise you, I promise you, I promise you. I'm almost done, y'all. I promise you, I promise you, I promise you. God will do the unexpected. You will seek more than you've ever had. You seek more than you ever had. Your whole life will begin to change gradually. As God begins to order your steps through those storms, those situations, those things that get you down, those things you don't understand, those things that break the best, that bad habit that you won't let go of. As God begins to order your steps through all of those things, I'm telling you, in the end, you will become more appreciative. And lastly, a lot of us none of us are the same, but we share some things in common, because we are all in a place and either about to enter a challenging circumstance, problem, or situation. We're about to enter it. We're about to go through or we're coming out of it. Either one. And no matter what stage we're in, about to, going through, or coming out, we have to be mentally prepared for it. And each stage going in and about to calls for a different preparation for when you're already going through. And then when you're coming out of it, there's a different mental state that you have to do. So when you're about to go through, first of all, you need to pray and ask God. No. When you're about to go through, first of all, you just have to be mentally prepared. So you have to prepare yourself for whatever storm this is before you even know what you even want to enter. You have to be able to pray, God, no matter what today brings, what tomorrow brings, Lord, prepare me and give me the strength to face it. I have to say that sometimes at work and relationship, family, friends. Sometimes I got to say, God, I don't know what's going to happen today, but prepare me because I know I'm about to enter something. I'm about to enter a situation, a problem, a challenge, a storm that's going to test me. So God prepared me for what I'm about to endure. And then as I'm going through it, I got to get to the point where God, I need you to keep me sustained. I need you to allow me to keep this patience. I need you to allow me to stay level so that I don't react like the old Keisha in any area of my life, that I don't curse anybody out without, thinking, that I don't say the wrong thing, that I take time to think before I react, so many different things. And then once I'm coming out of that storm, I have to say, God, you know what? You took me through all of that, all those lessons, all those problems, that growth, that maturity. Coming out of it, I would have to say, God, you know what? Keep me in this place. Keep me in this place that when I endure the next challenge, the next problem, the next situation, I can do the same thing. So no matter if you're about to enter, you're already in it, or you're coming out of it, every step, every place, every different place, those three places calls for a different mindset. Again, if you're about to go in it, you're not going to know when it's coming. You're not even going to know. You're going to hit it head on. Every day you get up, you pray, whatever it is. You got to say, God, no matter what happens today, no matter who tries to piss me off, no matter what negative vibe or action works against me, Lord, give me the strength to deal with it. Don't let me flick off on these people. Don't let me say the wrong thing. Don't let me act like the old person. You got to pray before you even enter it. And then while you're going through, you got to pray that God keeps you sustained to endure whatever the test is, whatever the problem is. And then when you overcome that struggle, challenge, stronghold, whatever you want to call it, you have to ask God to keep you in that same mindset to face the next challenge that you may endure. And that's all I have, y'all. That's all I have. It's been an hour and 14 minutes. And, if you tuned in late, I pray that you'll go back and you look at it from the beginning. I bring honesty, I bring truth to the table because I realize that I cannot look up to anybody that haven't experienced where I'm trying to go. And there are a lot of people out there that are trying to get somewhere and they're looking in the wrong place. There was another part that I found it. There, when we look we look around, and it's a lot of circumstances, a lot of circumstance. As I was about to say it, I was looking for my paper and I just found it. People are struggling with so many self issues, and we're all struggling differently. And like I said, through my experience of cycles of challenges that have challenged myself have challenged my inner self, I'm now committed to promoting self